Good afternoon, Year 3. Mr. Martin here with today's Wonder Lesson. Now, bit of a clue. What have I got around my neck? Thank you to the parent that knitted me this garment. I wonder if you can work out what lesson we are doing today. Clues around my neck. Fantastic. We are doing our scarf lesson. So I've got my scarf on. You need to put your imaginary scarves on, and we are going to continue our learning around safety. Okay. So let me share my screen with you. Here we go. So our scarf is our PSHCE lessons, and let's recap. It stands for, our red is for safety. So that is what we're looking at. Our orange is for caring. A is not resilience, achievements. R is for resilience, and F is for friendship. So you guys show all 5 of these values as well as our Wyndham values. Let's have a look at what we're doing today then. So first of all, just wanted to say a big well done for last week's scarf lesson. And you all produced some fantastic work around unsafe and safe situations. And there were some fantastic top tips sent in, okay? I'm going to try and save some of the best ones and get them printed off so that we can share them with other year groups as well. But there were lots and lots of brilliant work sent in that your teachers will have put dojos on for. I just wanted to share this one. This is from Taylor in my class, so well done, Taylor. Fantastic piece of work here. So Taylor's got his top tips for keeping safe in the middle, and as you can see, he's got his 4 arrows coming off. So this one is talking about talking to an adult in a difficult situation, in an unsafe situation. So very, very important. Using traffic lights if you're crossing a road. Again, very, very important. We might touch on that again a bit today. This one, I didn't really think about this one. I was more thinking about if we are walking down the street, how we can keep safe. But Taylor has gone into a bit more detail, and he's talked about safety when on a bicycle or a scooter. So he's talking about wearing a helmet. We know that protects our brain, doesn't it? It protects our head. And do you know who can help us? So Taylor has listed 3 possible people here. It's got teachers. If you're at school, they can keep you safe. Parents can keep you safe at home. And the police can keep us safe in our community. So big well done, Taylor, and everyone else who sent in all of your work, your safety lines, and your top tips. Well done. Okay, so we're going to have a look at today's lesson now, and you'll see on the screen, I have got 2 key words that we are going to be focusing on during today's scarf lesson. My first word is danger, and my second word is risk. Now you'll notice I've used our red magnifying glass, which means our word selector. So I'd like you to pause the video now, and with your adults at home, I would like you to try and come up with a definition of what you think danger means and what you think the word risk means. So pause the video now. I'd like a definition, which means the meaning of each word. So we've got our word selector for each one, and then we'll have a look together. So pause the video now, please. Okay, hopefully you've had time to do that. So we'll come back to that in a moment. On screen, as you can see, is our what, how, and why for today. So it's going to tell us what we are learning. We're going to understand the difference, because they are different, between risk and danger. And we're going to do it through working together. You're going to be communicating with your adults at home before you complete a task for me at the end of the lesson. And why? So we can develop strategies. Okay, during this lesson, we're going to learn a 6-point strategy to determine, means work out whether a situation is safe or not. And I think you guys are going to be really good at this from what I saw last week. On my next slide, I have got the 2 words that I asked you to look at the beginning of the lesson. We've got risk and we've got danger. So I want you to see how close you were with your definitions. Okay, so the definition of the word danger is a threat of harm to someone in some way. So we're talking about a threat, not a nice thing, and harm. Okay, it's usually quite a not a pleasant thing. And in some way, there are lots of different ways the danger can threaten somebody. So underneath your date in your book, you should have Thursday, the 21st of January, 2021. I'd like you to write that. I'd like you to write the title of Scarf, please. And then I would like you to write the word danger and underneath the correct definition. Now, this is because we're going to keep coming back to it in today's. Pause the video while you do that now. Okay, we're also going to look at this word here, risk. And risk means the weighing up of danger in a situation before making a decision. So know what danger is, it's a threat of harm. And risk is a weighing up. Well, is that a threat? Is it not a threat? So we're going to look at that and look at some scenarios again. So underneath your date and your title, I'd like you to write these two keywords with definition. Please pause the video while you do that. Okay, hopefully you have had time to write that out. And we are going to look at a 6-step strategy that the Scarf website suggests we use for weighing up risky situations. What to do if you're in a risky situation, something that could potentially cause danger to you or people around you. Now, we've got 6 steps, so we're going to go through them. Step number 1, if you think you're in a risky situation, you need to stop, okay? Whatever you're doing, just stop and think. Number 2 is take a deep breath. Now, this gives us a chance to really stop and think and not have so many things going on. Okay? Take time, take that breath. Number 3, once you've done the first 2, you need to start weighing up the consequences. Now, it's a bit of a tricky one. Weighing up means thinking of the good things that might happen and the bad things, and then going, which one is there more of? Are there more bad things that might happen, or are there more good things that could happen? Okay? This word consequences is often seen as a negative, but you can have good consequences and bad consequences. So weighing up. Once you've weighed up your consequences, number 4, think about them. Well, I know I've got all of these good consequences and one bad one. So it's looking like it might be quite safe. Number 5, double check your thinking, okay? Don't just think, yeah, that's right. Okay. Well, is it right? Have I thought everything through here? Number 5. And then number 6, you need to make a decision based on all of these other steps. So number 6, decide, yes, this situation is safe for me to continue, or no, this situation is not safe, it is too risky and dangerous. So I'd like you to write out our 6 steps of what to do in a risky situation, please. Pause the video now. I'll go through them. Stop. Breathe. Weigh up the consequences. Think again, decide. So yes or no, decide. We can use those as the actions. Stop, breathe, weigh up the consequences, think again, decide, yes or no, which one are we going to do? So we are now going to put our learning into a little bit of a scenario. So I'm just going to share a story with you. And that was the one. This is a story, okay? And I'm going to read it with you. It'll be on the screen also. And what I would like you to do is at certain points in this story, there's going to be a question about whether we should take a risk or whether we should not take the risk. And I want you to think through your 6-step go. Right, stop, breathe. What's the good things that might happen? What's the bad things? Think about it again, and decide what you're going to do. So there's different points where I'll stop and you to make a decision based on the riskiness of this. So I'll read it with you. It is on the screen. So Millie is 11 and in the top class of the primary school. She walked home with her brother Tom, who is 2 years younger. Their mum works until 5 o'clock at an office in the centre of their nearby town, and Dad never gets home until 6:30 p.m. Their grandma arrives at their house at 3 o'clock and looks after them until their parents get home. But because she has had a bad leg at the moment, she does not pick them up from school. Millie doesn't mind. She has been going out to the local shops for some time now. She feels quite grown up and she always has been very careful about crossing the road. Tom doesn't mind either. He knows his big sister will look after him and is good at crossing roads too. On Tuesday, they left school at the end of the day. There is a busy road nearby that they need to cross. Standing on the pavement, Millie looked left and looked right. She couldn't see any traffic lights nearby to help them cross the road more safely. This is your first situation. What should she look for next to help her cross the road? So she's looked left, she's looked right. There's no traffic lights. What could she do next? Hopefully, you said maybe another type of crossing, like a zebra crossing. Okay, but unfortunately, there's no official crossing in this road. There's no zebra crossing that she can see. What should she do now? There was no traffic island either. What should she do next? And if she's not careful, who else might be at risk? Who else is with her at this point? How is she going to get across the road? So, pause the video now, and I'd like to have a think about all of these questions. Gone to cross the road, there's no safe way of doing it at the minute. What should she do? So she stop, take a deep breath, weigh up the consequences. Is it safe to cross? Is it not safe to cross? Think about which one, then make a decision. This is just talking with people at home. What could she do? Video now, what we do. Okay, hopefully you've had time to discuss that. So a couple of outcomes that you could have had are that they could have crossed the road without a crossing. They could have waited until there was no cars in sight whatsoever, or follow the road code where they look again, listen, and then decide it is safe to cross because there's no cars coming. Another option you could have had is they could have kept walking up the road. You can't see a crossing at the minute. If they keep walking, they might come to one. Most main roads do have crossings on. Right, let's carry on with the story then. They keep walking. Eventually, they reach a long stretch of road with no parked cars. They can see a long way in both directions, and so they safely cross the road. So well done if you said something like that. Millie hears someone shouting out her name. She turns around and sees her friend Mia, her friend from swimming club, waving. Mia comes up and says, "I'm on my way to the park. Do you want to come?" What risk is she taking if she goes with Mia? So she's going to the shops with her brother. But she's walking home with her brother, sorry. Grandma's expecting her at home. Mia has said, "Do you want to come to the park?" What is the risk she is taking? Talk about that with your adults at home. Good. So her grandma doesn't know where she's going. If she goes, does she leave her brother or does her brother come with her to the park? All things that she needs to consider when weighing up. So weighing up like a scales, the situation. "My mum is just coming. She'll be with us to keep an eye," said Mia. Millie still didn't know what to do. She likes Mia and would love to go to the park, but she felt uncertain. If Millie and Tom go to the park, how would it affect her grandma? So when you think about that, talk about it with adults, and then discuss what is the best situation for Millie to continue. Pause the video now where you talk about those questions. Right, let's finish our story then. Millie thanks Mia for her offer, but explains that they have to go home as their grandma will be expecting them and will worry if they are late. They are almost home. The street is busy with lots of adults and children walking along it. A man comes up to Millie and asks her, "How do I get to Claremont Street? Is it close to where you live?" Tom was just about to answer when Millie grabbed his hand and said, "We don't talk to strangers," before walking off. "That was rude," said Tom. "We know where Claremont Street is." Millie then explained to him why it was not rude. What do you think she said to him? Okay, why is it important that we don't talk to strangers? Pause the video now, talk about that question. Soon they were safely back they told grandma about the man asking for directions, and she said they had done the right thing. So it is potentially a dangerous situation talking to strangers, okay? Especially if you're not with an adult. I would say if, what was it, Millie and Tom were with their grandma or an adult, and if someone came up and asked for directions, that would be okay. But it is safer to say, sorry, we don't talk to strangers, just in case, okay? So we don't know what sort of people are out there. It's a risky. So that task was just about verbal reasoning and talking with adults at home. I'm just going to try and go across to the next slide. So that was all verbal, your task. Your next task is, you've got 9, make it a bit smaller, scenarios on the screen. And I'm not going to read through each one because you're not going to do all of them. Okay, I would like you to pick 5 out of these 9 scenarios. And all you're going to do is you're going to role play them. So at home, you're going to act out the situation and you're going to act out the thought process that you would go through in this risky situation. So I'll go through the first one. You're playing football in your back garden with some friends when the ball goes over the fence and into the road. You need to act that out. Okay, take some pictures, send them in. Okay, and then I want you to think. So the first one, you might stop. So you might have a picture of you stopping. Then the second one, breathe. Okay. Next one, weigh up the consequences. You could write down, well, the consequences are that the road might be busy. Okay. Ball goes over the fence. We don't know whose garden it's gone into. Then your pros might be you do know, and there's no one in the road. Okay, so acting out 5 of these 9 situations, and I want you to act out the thinking process that you will go through in these risky situations. Just send us in some pictures of you acting out these scenarios, okay? Remember your 6 steps from earlier. Stop, breathe, weigh it up, think, double check your thinking, make a decision. Is it safe? Is it not safe? Is it too risky? Is it too dangerous? Fantastic. So just send us in some pictures of you acting out 5 of these role play situations. Okay? You can pick any 5 that you like. They're on the screen there. So that's your second task of today. I'd like to send some pictures of you acting out these situations and really thinking through how risky they are and how we make a safe decision. Then finally, if I share my screen again with you, your final task is you're going to create a poster all about risk and danger and the situation. So this poster needs to include what risk and danger are, the 6 steps, and I would like some pictures of potential risky situations. So on here, you might use one of the action or the role play scenarios. You might draw somebody going to get a ball in the middle of the road. You might talk through and draw a little picture next to all 6 steps. So I'd like some colors on there. I would like definitely the 6 points. I'd like some definitions. I want some bold writing, bubble writing. How you're going to create a poster showing people how they can think through a risky situation and make sure that they are safe. If you send over your final ones on Portfolio, that'll be brilliant, and we'll look at some good ones at the start of next week's learning episode. Remember, we're focusing on safety for our SCARF aspect, so it all needs to be about safety, risk. Well, good afternoon, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you.